All right, so the starting soon is going live. Let's make sure everything is good. Start it up. And then this, that. All right, so take my camera. All right, I'm gonna mute up. 5 seconds from now, you'll see the screen image switch over. That means we started. So I'm gonna mute up now, and I got 5 seconds into it. Okay. And welcome to Co-Play Media. Today we have here the return of the man, Hilton George. And of course, we have my guests here, Demo and Dexter D. How are you guys doing today, everybody?
Doing good, man.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, man.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
To all you mothers.
And all you mother lovers out there.
Oh, man. So it's great to have you back, Hilton. I think we had you on the show. I think it was, what was it, 2 years ago? It was the last...
Pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID.
That's for sure.
He was face to face.
Yeah, we was in the studio.
No distancing.
We was in the
mask,
studio.
In the studio, on location.
Can it be?
The old BET, right?
Yeah, the old sound stage. Yep.
Oh yeah. Now look at this, all electronic and high tech.
With our fancy backgrounds and whatnot, you know.
Right?
I know, right? Look, what y'all don't know in podcast world, if y'all watching this, that's actually what he has behind him everywhere he goes. It's not an effect. He got like this big thing. It's like a plume.
It's my natural.
Hold on, let me get my setup going.
His aura.
I sit up here like this, you know. People come to me. Oh man, you are hilarious, and more importantly, your Facebook is hilarious, man. I love following you. You be dropping like not only nuggets of like gems of knowledge, but just hilarious stuff. Has it been part of the way of you coping with COVID?
It has to be, man. I mean, you have to laugh. You have to find ways to see humor. You know, when you're watching the world around you collapsing and shutting down. I mean, it doesn't even sound real to say that it's been 16 months since we've all been kind of locked down. I mean, you know, what have we ever done in life that has been 16 months running? That's like 4 semesters of college with no break. You know, that's, you know, going off to basic training and then back to basic training 7 times, you know, if you're military. I mean, I don't know of any measure that's like that where just everything just stopped and it just happened so suddenly and we weren't expecting it to hit us so hard. So, you know, we all of a sudden we're sitting around like, oh, wait a minute, like this little run on the toilet paper and the bread at Costco, this is gonna go till 2021. Like, oh Lord.
I knew it was about to be crazy when the toilet paper thing happened. I was like, are people crazy?
Yo, yeah.
I was like, toilet paper, of all things, we have a toilet paper shortage. That's when I knew COVID was about to be a shit show.
I was over here like it's got to be a symptom. Like diarrhea has got to be a symptom of COVID. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gotta be it.
Not even close. Ain't even a symptom of a symptom
at all.
There's no diarrhea anywhere with COVID, but the Cottonelle industry has just been blowing up. Why didn't I have stock in Cottonelle before COVID?
If only we had stock in Cottonelle, we would all be millionaires right now.
Hey, that might be a Johnson.
Didn't even think about it.
Instead, I bought stock in movie theaters and travel.
All right.
That Carnival Cruise stock is banging right now.
I know, right? They're like, we coming back. Them vaccines.
Just y'all wait.
Look, you could buy a whole cruise ship, $47 right now.
Hey, I'm telling you.
You just walk right up to Baltimore and be like, hey, man, I got $47 as cash. I know you ain't trying to have cash money.
Is that the
Buy that Disney cruise
over there?
You just take it around the block, man. Bring it back. We run into the store real quick.
Right. Let
They be like, for
block with that
$12, you can take the crew with you. You know what I'm saying? You can take the crew with you. They'll be happy to go.
Hey, they need somewhere to live too. Let's do this.
Real.
So has COVID changed how you've been working, how you've been preparing for the country, the convention, how you live? How's it been affecting you in any kind of way?
Well, it's been a real tightrope to walk since we came out in January with the 2021 date, because we knew that we needed to wait until after the election, because who's in office, obviously, as we have so painfully learned, can dictate how problems, or if problems, get solved. And I knew that if Trump had gotten somehow reelected, that COVID was not going to get solved and we were not going to be heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
And that would probably be the least of our problems, frighteningly enough. Yeah. But so we come out, once everything was settled after the new year, and we said, okay, let's do this. How do we do it safely? How do we bring this thing about in a way that kind of reassures the people who are on the fence and, kind of gets the people who are invested. This is not just about the attendees. We got to consider vendors and contractors and sponsors and staff. Everybody's got to be on board. If one constituency is like, we out, it can drastically change the shape of the con. So we had to consider every little factor, spacing of tables. And I went through, and you saw the video walkthrough that I did. I had an hour meeting before the walkthrough with the Hyatt leadership and engineering to talk about, air filtration, air circulation, air ventilation. You know, all this stuff was, you don't think about this stuff at a regular con, and you're like, oh yeah, we need to know. Then we had to think about, sanitation. You had to think about, sterilization. All these shuns were just things that we had to map out. Find out what those protocols are, and are they, what happens when you go in the hotel room? Does every hotel room have their own air conditioning system with their own filtration system? Do the windows open? How often do they turn the rooms over? Is everybody tested? Is everyone wearing masks? Is it, and you got to think about all of those things. And so we came out, and it was running smooth, with the rollout. And I was looking at the landscape, and I got to tell you, and I'm talking to y'all, and I'm talking to the audience. There were a lot of people out there who are not intending, they have not gotten the vaccine and have no intention of getting the vaccine. But these are also people that want to be on the front lines of getting back out into con space. There's a conflict there. It's like this conundrum of like some of the most enthusiastic people, as I was, because I know so many of these people in the community, like I'm actually in communication with. I follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And it was like, if we have this many people coming out, we need to make sure that the plurality of them are going to be participating in this group effort. It has to be a group effort. It can't be BLERDCON is going to set some rules in place and then everybody will be safe. We're going to do our part, and then the audience and the community and the attendees have to do their part so that everybody is protected. So that's when we came out and said, okay, we're going to do vaccine mandate. It was a bold move. We knew it was going to be some consternation.
Yep.
We knew there was some folks that were not going to be happy with that. But at the end of the day, as a con runner, as a con owner, as the con chair, somebody came to BLERDCON and put their safety in our hands, and they got sick, or heaven forbid, somebody died. It wouldn't be like just some nameless, faceless person. This would be somebody we probably had some familiarity or association with. And I said, I can't have that. It's not something that I could handle. It's not something I want to put my team through. I said, so you know what? It's vaccine only. And while vaccines are not a silver bullet that just knocks everything out, if you're sitting at 90% resistance to COVID, and one or two of the exotic strains, South Africa, UK, South America, and you're wearing masks, and we're doing sanitation, and we're doing spacing, and we're doing, ventilation and all this sort of stuff. It's layers. It's like when you go out in the cold, I don't know who here has lived up north, but But the cold, you got to layer. You can't just throw a jacket on and run out in Michigan in the cold. Like you got to have long johns and the right kind of pants and the right kind of socks and then the right kind of coat and the right kind of hat, right kind of glove. If anything's missing, you know, you might lose a fingernail or something, right? So we had to minimize our exposure and you know, just wait for the blowback. And ironically, the blowback was very vocal, right? And very, you know, borderline indignant and all this other stuff. And I
want to ask. I'm really interested.
It was a whole lot of people in the inbox trying to talk to the man. I want to speak to your manager. Who manages you, Hilton? We want to talk to Jesus. We need somebody else. You know, it don't matter. And I even take the indignant folks as a positive, because in order to be indignant, you had to really have wanted to come to the con.
Oh yeah.
And this would have so even that I see in a positive light. Like, okay, I'm honored that you are this upset that you cannot come to the con because of your convictions. Right. So, you know, lay it on me. You know, I know I done sold out to the Illuminati, and I'm a sheeple. I get it. You know, just whatever you got to say, get it off your chest.
All the name calling.
We'll see what we can do.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. You are the reason why I got my vaccine. I got my vaccination specifically to go to BLERDCON. Like, I would have tried to, like many other.
You'd have tried to shimmy it off.
You know what I'm saying? I'm
press
trying
that COVID off your shoulder. Yeah, man. If he could just duck and dive, Bobby Reed, he could. COVID won't get you.
You know, if I take my zinc, you know, and I follow up with a lot of vitamin C, you know, I should be all right.
You know, I'm gonna take about 5,000 milligrams.
Be like, okay, it's all right. My family is in the holistic medicine.
My essential oils. Check me. Some sage.
I got me some tea, man. Some yogi tea.
Don't worry. This aromatherapy is gonna knock out all this COVID.
I've heard all of it, you know, and while I think a lot of people were like you know, there is I posted something about this actually earlier today because it just hit me because I had a little time and I was looking at the screen, but I just remember for the last 2 or 3 years, we in the Black community were clowning Trump supporters for following QAnon and the conspiracy theories and all this stuff, like, look at those, and then we turn and accidentally say something about vaccines at the dinner table over the holidays, and then you realize that, you know, they're not the only people. You know, Trump folks are not the only people that believe in conspiracy theories.
Yep.
And deeply held convictions about
it's a human
conspiracy
thing.
theories. It's a human condition to not trust government or medicine, and Black people have their own special history with government and medicine that fuels a lot of that mistrust. And you know, one of the things I told the team is like, look, we're not trying to convince anybody. You know, human nature is not wired in such a way that, you know, you can have someone with deeply held emotional convictions and convince them with any type of facts or data. It doesn't work that way. You know, people have to come to their decision in their own way and their own time. And sometimes for some people it is, well, if I want to go back to cons, I have to bite the bullet and get a vaccine. And what I'm telling people, though, is that it's not going to be just BLERDCON. I'm telling you, the minute we put this out, all the con runners out there, man,
wow.
I'm not naming any names because I don't want to put any particular con on the spot where you go, oh, Hilton said he was talking to the owners of so-and-so con, and now we're going to ask them what they're going to do, put them on the spot. I'm not going to do that. Mm-hmm. But your favorite 5 cons, think of your favorite 5 conventions between now and next Christmas. You got that in your head?
Yeah.
They call me and they're asking me the questions.
Yeah.
They like, so Hilton, how's the blowback been? Or, no, really? going to work these logistics, and how you're going to verify the cards, and how you're going to handle security, and how you're going to, I mean, they trying to, when people are just pinging you because they're just curious and asking for, just for kicks and giggles. But these are folks that are like, we're actually considering doing this. And I think some of these bigger conventions, especially the ones that are like 20, 30,000, have more risk.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's for sure.
BLERDCON's under 10,000. So, this rule for us could be kind of like, this could be the thing that makes us super safe. But if your con has got 30,000 people in it or something, your risk of not doing this is like 10 times what ours is. So if you're thinking like, oh, I am not going to get this vaccine just for BLERDCON because, I've been following the newsletter and I'm on the Crisis Network or whatever, wherever you get your news from or whatever, trust me, it's not just us. It's going to be the next con and the next con and the next con. And you're just going to get tired of having to sit on the sidelines or be mad and indignant at somebody. and you're going to have to eventually come to terms with that. And I think it's a good thing. I mean, I believe in the science. I understand the skepticism and I understand the deeply held fears, especially if you're one of those people that has aligned themselves with sources of very, what's the word I'm looking for? Plentiful misinformation.
Yeah.
We all look. There's a name for it. It's called conspiracy brother, right? Remember the conspiracy brother trope goes back decades. This ain't new. This is before COVID. I don't know why we expected conspiracy brother to go away because he never gone away.
This is his time to shine right here. This is it.
This is his time.
Invest in conspiracy brother.
Oh, look. Now you got conspiracy brother got YouTube links now.
Yeah.
Before 2000, conspiracy brother used to have to send you to the bookstore and he'd have to open up articles and try to recite something he heard at a con or something like that. But now they're like, brother, you educate yourself and get on this YouTube link and So my point is that there is a very vocal minority in the Black nerd community, just like in the Black community, against vaccinations. Yeah. And it's not all one thing. It's not some people just have a aesthetic general mistrust of government. Some people actually believe certain information or are confused because they are not getting, the right information. And it's unfortunate because the hesitancy crew is the key to herd immunity. We have to convince the person next to us and engage people before we can make any progress on it. But at the end of the day, I run a con and I'm responsible for the people that come to it, so I couldn't get ideological with people and all that sort of thing. So that has been a huge step forward for us.
I mean, personally speaking, I agree with it. I think it is the safest idea. I remember having a conversation with one of the people on our team. And she was explaining how she was, what was the word? Epidemiologist? Was it epidemiology? Yeah. And, she was like, hey, we got to make sure that this con is that you're going to is safe, because you're at risk and everything else. And I'm like, oh, I'm fine. I have the shot. Like, I'm good. I got the vaccine. And she was like, that's not going to be enough. You got to make sure. And she said the exact same thing as you is there's got to be layers of defense or no one is actually going to be safe. So I actually agree with you. I think that the layers of defense against COVID are definitely necessary. I think it's a great idea for me to get the vaccine. I think there's a lot of people who, when the vaccine is going to be mandated for other things like leaving the country or who knows what, whatever else is.
Bro, I'm telling you, it's going to take one lawsuit. Somebody going to get on Delta Airlines flight and get coughed on. And the Cochran firm is going to get a call and they're going to sue for millions. And the next day, Delta's going to be like, this is the new COVID pass. And you have to get vaccinated and it has to be verified. And it's going to be it's going to be like, what's that? Not the easy pass, but what's that quick pass?
Yeah.
So go through that little
pre-check
system.
TSA pre.
Yeah, it's going to be like pre-check or something like that. And once one airline does it, American Airlines is gonna be like, yo, man, I saw Delta got sued for $1 million because that woman got coughed on that flight. Oh no, everybody's got to get on, you know. And then all of a sudden, it's gonna be like a bunch of dominoes, and you're just gonna look up, and there's gonna be, you know, because they're already doing it with like cruises.
Yep.
If you want to get on, Lord knows I don't know why anybody want to get on a cruise ship.
That was my question.
Because it's cheap. It's cheap.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You can go to Tahiti for everything's $47. If you, I don't know if you've been on Norwegian Cruise Line and Carnival Cruise, wherever you want to go is $47. $47. Please just get on the boat. Whatever
that don't
you
even sound right. That don't even sound right at all. Something's wrong with that in itself.
Look, I'm telling you right now, man, the cruise industry's hurting, and $47 is. Look, somebody's gonna check it out. I'm joking, but I guarantee you, there's a fair somewhere where you can get on a cruise ship and go somewhere, even if it's just around in a circle. $47. Just get on the boat, please.
Hey, you making me think about it, you know? Like,
hey, stop, man.
Hey, I'm gonna be fine, man. I got the vaccine. I'm gonna be straight.
And you know, the crazy thing is that, you know, we got so caught up in, you know, the stir craziness that at a certain point, you know, we kind of forgot the science. And I see people in, especially states, because I do believe the top-down leadership does dictate behavior in the herd mentality, and how we behave depends very much so on the people to the left or the right of us, right?
Yeah.
And while a lot of people here in the DC metro area was locked down, and we were sitting in our houses and we weren't going out to clubs and bars and movie theaters and stuff, you know, Ron DeSantis down in Florida was just like, COVID, what? We opening everything. Just look, we tired of hearing about it. Just, you know, if we act like it ain't there, you good, I'm good, you know, whatever. And then all of a sudden they hit like 2 million infections. Everybody went down there for spring break, was cutting up, acting a fool. And now, you know, you see that there are certain pockets where things are just blowing up. Now, the good news is that the vaccines are slowly catching up with the infection rates. You know, it's not as fast as it could be. Right. Because of hesitancy, but you know, there are just people who have just given up on trying to protect themselves and the people around them from COVID, because they think, well, I'm young and I'm in good shape and I don't have any pre-existing conditions, so I'm good. And then you see them out at the club, you know, you see everybody's Instagram, you watching it, you know, you see people's Twitter, you know, you see their stories. And you know, like I'll be looking at the store, I don't see no masks in this club at all. Like, and then the next scene, you know, the next story, you know how the story just progresses. Like it'd be like 12 hours ago they was at the club, 8 hours ago they was at Waffle House, and then you see them hanging with their parents, and you see their parents are elderly, and there's no mask. And I'm like, you just brought the whole club to your parents in their 60s.
You got club all over you, bringing it to your family, you know, like
got your club all on you, you know. And I think and I think we forgot how viruses work. They were like, well, I'm not gonna get it, and if I do get it, I'm not gonna die from it. So I'm making a choice just for me. So I'm gonna do what I want to do. But then we forget that even if that's true, we are a link in the chain. You know, even with the vaccine, you can inhale virus particulates and then turn 2 seconds later and exhale them on somebody else, even if you don't get sick, even if you don't get infected. You know, your respiratory system allows you to take in air and push it back out, which is why they say even with the vaccine you should wear a mask if you are you know,
even with the vaccine, I still shouldn't go to the club.
You shouldn't go to the club. Not yet. Just wait. Not yet. I think with a combination, like with BLERDCON, for instance, I think with a combination of everybody being vaccinated and everybody wearing masks, and with the kind of, I mean, you know, you've been to BLERDCON, you know how the layout is very different from most hotel conference centers. You know, it's very open air, high circulation and all that stuff. You know, I think we've got the formula that will lead to a successful run. But would I just go to a club or a bar just willy-nilly? Absolutely. don't. That's not how my Jesus works. That may be somehow somebody might have it like that. I don't have that kind of relationship with God. He might, you get too close to the edge, he might just call you home because he can see you. They're like, oh, you on the edge? Damn, why are you over here? You sent you right by the window. Just come on down. Just
come on over.
Just
come into the light. Just come into the light. It's okay.
I mean, that window behind you, D, looks like he's calling you right now.
Right,
Go into the light.
So for those who don't know, this is the cathedral scene. This is the cathedral scene from Cowboy Bebop. I love this scene.
Yep.
You guys don't remember this? This is where Spike.
I mean, it's pretty obscure because it's at the end of the show, dude.
It was right when they were fighting.
Man.
I'm sorry, I love this show. I love Cowboy Bebop. It's a great show.
That sir is like what they call like low key gatekeeping. That's what you put that up there. That's the flex. Yeah, just in case somebody tried to check your credentials.
But how you didn't know this was from Cowboy Bebop?
Oh, you didn't watch the post credits?
You didn't watch the whole show, then, did you? You didn't watch.
You might as well not even have seen it. Then. You need to go back and re-queue get your membership at Crunchyroll. Back on,
right.
Pay that bill. I know you owe money. Watch it again
and rewatch it in subtitles. You got
crazy.
Oh Lord.
No, but I think this is the first time like this generation of people, because most of the vaccines we have been around for so long that it's just normal to take them, right? So now we're going into this COVID thing and it's under an emergency use header, and it's not really approved. So I think that's where a lot of people kind of look at it sideways, like, but eventually it's gonna.
I was one of those brothers when they were first talking about it. I was like, I can't wait to, this is me in November. I can't wait to take the vaccine, but I'm not going to be the first.
Right.
Person.
Oh, that was all of us.
Let me get
all the smart people are like, I'm gonna take it, but I'm gonna wait about 6 months to see what happens.
Let's just, I don't want to, I'm not gonna be the first brother to take the vaccine.
Right.
Never be the first black person to do something.
Well, that's it.
Look, I didn't even want to be the first brother to get the Popeye's chicken sandwich. That's how.
Heck no.
Let me see how the pickles hit first. This is people's stomach turn upside down.
Like,
it's too good to be true.
Watch everybody else take a bite, like, all right.
Just sitting there looking pensively around the Popeyes.
See what's going on with that sauce, bro. Hold on, So, and that's what I call healthy skepticism, and I think a lot of us, especially in the black community, have that.
Yeah.
And yes, you're right. There are people who are waiting for FDA approval, and I think there is a reasonable position for hesitancy, even if you disagree with it. Absolutely. I think there's a reasonable disagreement that you can have if you're weighing the risk versus, the rewards of taking it and all those things that each one of us have to go through. The ones that I worry about, the people that give me concern, are the people that just really believe the most hyperbolic stuff and just don't seem to be aware of any of the science.
Right.
I've talked to people, and again, I'm not convincing anyone. I don't put my energy toward that. It's just not constructive. It's never going to work. Right. But I do like to let people vent their feelings, especially if I have to work with them, especially when it comes to things like BLERDCON and the decisions we make. But, anytime somebody's like, man, they got these vaccines out here, there's no science on it at all. There's no, I'm like, there is science.
Make it in
they
the
know
lab
something.
With scientists.
Somebody told me the other day that 4,000 people have died because of the vaccine. I was like, 4,000 people? I'm like, come on, man. Like, you really...
I'd be like 4,000.
I heard it on TikTok, man. I heard it on TikTok. There was a man in a dashiki. He was running down a hallway. He was telling me about it.
Exactly. And I'm kind of like, I have a distrust of government too. Don't get me wrong. I used to be conspiracy brother in college.
Oh yeah.
I'm a reformed hotep. I was very much on the cutting edge. Listen, melatonin
Cutting edge
started getting
vocabulary.
used as a sleep aid, and the Mela in that, the Hotep crew, we went crazy on that. Like,
Oh man,
oh,
I
they
took
trying
one.
to melanin. You see, they trying to put us to sleep using our own skin.
Trying to
I was him. That's me. I'm quoting me. I'm not making fun of Hotep.
Oh,
This was
man.
me talking about melatonin research when it was coming up. We used to have the science magazines. We sit in a circle and used to, So I understand. I get it. But at the
toning
same
down
time,
that
like,
melanin is what it's doing.
soon they gonna start harvesting our melatonin so that they can sleep. You need to wake up, brother. They gonna go to sleep off of you being asleep because your third eye ain't open. And this is the problem, brother. This is the problem. Pass me some hummus. I'm serious. Yes, we was eating hummus before it was cool.
Hey, hummus is delicious,
Bunch
man.
of college brothers. If you ate hummus back in college,
Yeah, that's weird though. Back then it was like, nah, bro.
But hummus was delicious, man. If you ever had hummus back then, hummus was delicious with the vegetables.
Hummus
Hey,
is
people needed to have
It
money
was
to eat
risky.
hummus in college. We
Yo.
didn't have hummus
because they
in
wasn't
college.
selling
Did
hummus
not.
at the grocery store.
So
Somebody had to make hummus. And it was
From
somebody
scratch.
going with a bunch of
Oh, see, that's
you
a
know,
different level right
Tahini
there.
ingredients
and
and come out with a
chickpea.
bowl of brown goop and here,
They-
brother, get you some pita bread, man. Get
Yeah,
you some
go
of
ahead
this
and get you
hummus,
some of
man.
this hummus.
Yeah.
Yep. I smashed up the chickpeas. You know what I'm saying? I mixed it with the oils and whatnot.
Dang. Wow.
So
You need to purge all that pork out your system. I seen you eating that pizza in the calf yesterday. See, that's the problem.
that's why your third eye
You're
won't
failing.
open.
Your third eye is
You're
closed
failing.
up because it's
You fail in
swollen.
calculus because you can't calculate how that rat and dog is in your system, slowing your brain down. Now they're coming for your melatonin. Now you can't sleep.
Nah, hey, that's how they be though, man. That's how they be.
I'm not making fun of Hoteps. I'm quoting me
Oh,
in the 90s.
You're hilarious.
These are
man.
my words. Get out my face.
Like I said that to somebody.
I was reading a
I got a
script.
whole dude time. I used to go. I'm not even joking. I used to go to Hotep conferences. We used to have conferences, man,
What?
where it'd be like a convention. Yes.
Oh man.
Your daishiki and your these hats with the all the memes and stuff. That was us. We was walking around. We went to New York one year. Brothers was translating hieroglyphics and talking about. Yeah, man. It was it was a whole thing. The next year it was at Tuskegee, at Tuskegee University. So we drove down to Alabama. Went to man. I'm telling you. Look,
Hey,
when I am not joking when I say I was in the Hotep movement. I was there. That was me, my words. I make fun of nobody. I just quote myself. People,
hey.
that's just crazy. And I'm like, no, you just didn't know me in my 20s. I had something for you.
You know what's funny is that if you would have caught me back in those times, I probably would have ran with it. I'd be like, yeah, like melatonin. Well, it's the base words, like
Right.
mela,
I was at Freaknik with a bean pie and a Final Call riding in the back of the Jeep listening to 95 South. So envision that for a minute. Just put that picture in your head. We're talking about booties and all this stuff with my bean
Talking
pie.
like early
my
90s,
Final
mid
Call.
90s.
hey, them bean pies be good though. I ain't gonna.
They are.
Don't they? Say what
They
you want.
are.
not only are they good for you, but they're ever so nutritious.
They are delicious.
They have
They're
all the
good.
vitamins. Let me move forward. We're getting off task.
Now hold on. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The Navy
So-
bean.
Went off road.
I don't mind it. It was nice. The view was hilarious. The view was stupendous, man. But I would like to recap. Brandon is in the UK right now, and he has not been to BLERDCON. Me and Demo have been to BLERDCON, and we would like to not only ask you about the new experience, but also recap the best experiences and our opinions that happened with BLERDCON.
There's some amazing stuff here on this list. Stuff that I've never thought I would see at a convention before.
Dude, barbershop experience.
I mean, I'm like, wow.
If I needed a cut
Reaching the
that
people
day,
with
I
that.
would have got one, bro.
Hey,
This is all. It was all experimental, and you know it is a privilege in one hand, and it's really exciting in another hand that we are in this position of being able to break out and do new stuff because, you know, I'm not talking down on any other convention, but as we all know that if you go to enough conventions, you start to see kind of like the same pattern in certain cons. It happens a lot with anime conventions, and I know it because I'll be coming from, like, there might be 3 or 4 big anime cons I go to a year, and then maybe another 4 or 5 smaller ones, but then I cannot remember where I had a conversation with somebody or where some significant thing happened. I'll be like, was it at this con or was it at that con? And they all kind of have the same basic components.
Yeah.
And they don't really have the imprimatur, if you want to use the $10 word for the day, to break out of that mold and try something new. But with the BLERDCON mission, trying to insert, you know, the Black cultural aspects into the convention experience lets us shake things up. So, for instance, with the barbershop, you know, the crazy thing about the barbershop is that it had every reason in the world to fail.
What?
And you'll understand why. Yes, because one, Black men have a very one-on-one relationship with their barber.
Right.
Barber, yeah.
Right?
I was wondering about that.
And you go to the barbershop and you see a line, and you get a line whether you got an appointment or not. You have an appointment to go sit in line. That's what your appointment's for, not to sit in a chair.
Right.
This is your time to come sit and wait for me. You waiting for Frankie. Frankie's been cutting your hair since high school, whatever. Frankie is the guy you trust. There's 5 other chairs there, and then there's a newbie on the end. And they always put the newbie's chair right in the front. And he's standing there looking, you know, he's like, hey, anybody want to do a cut? And he'll say, hey, if anybody's in a rush, y'all can get with Chauncey, because Chauncey will cut your hair. He'll hook you up.
Chauncey,
you know, everybody look at each other. We don't know Chauncey. We'll be like, nah, we good. We'll wait. You know.
Chauncey always picks up the phone at the barbershop, you know?
Yeah, he's doing other stuff. He's sweeping, you know, he's, you know, shooing the hustle man out the door, you know. So it's like, you know,
he works hard.
Were we setting it up so that everyone who's coming to the con, this is Chauncey, it's not their barber. So are you going to be at the con and trust somebody to do your hair if they've never cut your hair before? And so that was a risk. And, you know, you have to ask yourself, do brothers at the cons who don't have no fade, right? You know, they this is, you know, it's all over the ears and stuff. Do they even know that they need a haircut? Like, if I put a barber chair in front of them, are they going to go, I'm fine, I like the Wayne Williams look, you know, I'm good. Right. You know, they might not even want to cut. You don't know. So you put this in front of people and you say, okay, it's so new, there's no precedent for it, there's no way to know how the community is going to react. And they jumped on it. Like, people really were excited that there was this barbershop, and they just ate it up, and the barbers were full, the line was kept moving, and all this stuff. Same thing with the food truck rally. You know, we had 14 food trucks in 2019. We're gonna have more this year. And you know, think about all your cons that you've been to, right? And one of the hardest things to manage is food. If you're at a general convention center, you know, they got the convention center food, but 9 times out of 10, it's a $15 hot dog. And, you know, it's not the best food for the money.
No.
Or if there is some good food, it's like so many people trying to get to that one stand that is selling good food that it takes forever to get food, yada, yada, yada. So food truck rally was just through the roof. And we curated it very carefully. You know, we wanted to make sure that we did not have any duplication. So there wouldn't be 5 pizza trucks. It'd be like 1 pizza truck, 1 vegan truck, 1 Jamaican truck, 1
that barbecue truck. That barbecue truck was on point.
Me and D we were standing at the sliders truck, right? The truck that was selling the sliders.
Yeah, DC sliders.
Dude was like, yo, like, what y'all doing? Barbecue about to open back up. I was like, where? He was like, yeah, man, I spent like $12 and had like two servings of food. Like, we gotta go to the barbecue truck.
Oh
So
yeah,
we
it was like
standing
watching
there.
people. It was like watching people run. It was like you're running.
Yeah,
Why,
like
why,
as soon as
why
they
are we
opened
running?
up,
Why are
he
we
was
running?
standing in the line like he was going to get sliders, but he was watching to see when the barbecue truck opened back up, and then he made us come with him. And I mean, we weren't, disappointed at all. But geez, I was like, yo,
Listen,
What cut y'all got?
listen, it's so good. I remember when he first pulled up, man. The first time we booked him, he had this little portable tub full of cans and cans and cans of Colt 45.
Ooh.
And I was like, this brother's selling malt liquor at the barbecue truck. I said, if ain't nothing more black barbecue than a tub full of Colt 45. And I asked him about it, and he said, no, this is for my barbecue sauce. Yeah. I was sold. I said, if you're using malt liquor to make your barbecue sauce,
that's why. No?
That's why
I don't need to see nothing else.
After a while,
no
me
nothing
and
else.
were in a food bliss in that joint, eating the food. And I swear he had a screen door on his truck. It was like a screen. I think
a screen door
on that joint.
It's crazy. It was crazy. And so it's stuff like that we're able to do, because at the end of the day, and the reactions that you guys are all having, they come with a certain amount of emotion. Like when people recall their BLERDCON experience, I want to see people tapping into an emotion, because that's how memories are made.
Yep.
You take a moment in time and you attach an emotion to it, and you'll never forget it. This was 2 years ago. This brother remembers what a person was saying in a line. This isn't a panel. This isn't when he met Rachel True. Right. This is a conversation he had in relationship to food, because I'm telling you what happened in that food truck rally. You bit into a rib or a slider sandwich or a vegan wrap or whatever it was, and you was like, oh, this was really good, right?
Yeah.
And then you looked and you saw somebody who said something to you. You said something in a little conversation, and then the DJ played a song. And all of that came together and cemented that moment in your spiritual memory, and you will go to your grave remembering those times. Absolutely. Because you've attached these emotional flagpoles to that moment. And I think beautiful. As a con runner, it's our responsibility to try and create as many spaces for those moments to happen. You meet somebody, or you run across somebody, you have a conversation, or you're eating some food, or you're enjoying some fellowship or a discussion, or kicking somebody's butt in a video game, or whatever it is. That moment happens, and when you leave BLERDCON, those moments go with you.
Yeah,
and then you unpack those moments when you go and talk to your friend who didn't go, but you was trying to get him to go. Yeah. Oh, you didn't go to BLERDCON. Oh, all right, look here, man. And see, then I bit the rib, and then the dude had this Colt 45, and then Frankie Beverly and Maze came on. Remember that? Is that right? Was it Frankie Beverly or was it? Yep. And then Frankie Beverly. Man, you missed it all. And then I got my hair cut, and I still have barbecue in my fingers. So when I counted the money, there was a barbecue stain on the $20 bill, but he didn't mind because we was talking about Naruto, and he just started regurgitating all these moments back to back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
Because when you go somewhere and you have a different experience or a non-emotional experience, time just blows by and it don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
And you've seen that in the COVID era. Most of us can't even keep track of the weeks. Like, what is it, Friday again?
Man, I'm telling
where did Friday come from? You don't remember when it was Tuesday just here?
Weekends have no meaning.
The days don't have any meaning because we're not interacting. We're not connected to the time that we mark. We're working from home. We're not doing the commute. We're not listening to our music in the commute. We're not drinking our coffee and eating our biscuit while we're trying to drive with our knee on 95, trying not to cause an accident.
Your rituals just went out the window.
You guys have no idea how much I miss going to work. Like the getting ready, getting dressed, you know what I'm saying? Getting in the car, listening to my music. I miss that a lot.
Yeah. Podcasts for me. Podcasts have gone out the window now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but one of the things that also really sticks out in my mind about BLERDCON, I guess it would be, I don't want to say I don't see this at the other conventions, but there was like a real genuine sense of community you know, general fellowship, you know, like, and most of all, respect, like respect for everybody. Like everybody was respectful. Like folks who are cosplaying, other dudes walking up and would it be okay if I could take a picture of you? You know, the conversations that people were having with each other, they were just very uplifting. You know, there wasn't anybody trying to, I guess not in a mean way, trying to roast anybody or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I just enjoyed that kind of, it felt familiar. You know, like I've been to a lot of times.
I think that's the word. I think
Like
familiar
a family
is the word.
reunion out there.
It very much is. I mean, we are connected virtually and through social media and stuff like that in a normal year, right? Cons are where we come together. And what I hope that BLERDCON is able to encourage and take part in is not just what happens at BLERDCON, because the community existed before BLERDCON.
Right.
We are doing our part to galvanize the community, grow the community, interconnect the community, but it was there before we got here. And what I'm hoping that people will do is that the Blerd community will exist both in BLERDCON and outside of BLERDCON. I want to go to the next non-Blerd convention and see more Black Nerd photo shoots or Black Nerd gatherings. You know, I'm seeing that at other conventions. I'll go to DragonCon and Otakon and AwesomeCon and KatsuCon and MagFest and all these area conventions, and there's always 2 or 3 Black Nerd gatherings. Even if they don't have the Black Nerd in the language, you know, this is where we are going to be.
Yep.
And even if it's only for 20 minutes and we do some pictures or whatever, we gather and we kind of acknowledge one another. And then we do, just by nature of the way the con is set up, we have to dissipate. But what happens is that we start connecting and we start seeking each other out. Like, you ever notice when you go to a convention where, you know, again, it's not a Blerd convention, it's just a regular convention, and you start looking around for us. You know, are we gathering? And we're fist bumping figuratively and literally, you know, when we're out of town and when we're, you know, people are on the site and on social media. This is my first time in DC. This is my first time at BLERDCON. I'm coming by myself. You know, who's going to be there? Shout out. What are you going to be cosplaying? And then when they come, you know, they don't feel alone. You know, you feel like you are reconnecting. It is a reunion. And that vibe is kind of what we try to manufacture and generate and perpetuate for the 360 days per year that are not BLERDCON. And I want the community to continue on. I want it to persist. I want it to grow. It's really funny because, you know, people ask me all the time, like, you know, oh, you know, what do you think about all these other Black Nerd events that are starting to pop up, small ones and not so small ones, and, you know, that sort of thing. And I'm just like, it's all a win. This isn't competition. You know, people go to as many cons as there are on the calendar if they can afford it. Right. And if there's a con for Black Nerds by name or in spirit in Texas or in Chicago or in New York, you know, these are all things that grow and solidify the community, and then everybody benefits. We're not done growing the community. You are in the STEM fields, right? That's where you work, you know, right? There are so many Black nerds working in STEM fields that don't go to cons and don't wear cosplay and don't play Dungeons and Dragons or do, you know, wear, you know, Dragon Ball shirts when they go grocery shopping. It's very personal in their basement with that one TV that their wife or their parents or whoever they're living with don't bother, you know, where they play their games and it's a very one-on-one relationship with their nerdness. I want to bring that guy out. I want to bring that lady out and have them come and join the community. So there's a mission involved, you know, and so that's what we got to do.
Speaking of, I actually brought my wife to BLERDCON, and she is not a con goer. She's not a con goer. She is not into anime nor video games, and she had a fantastic time. She actually spoke with Rachel True, fell in love with her, binged Half and Half, and rewatched Craft, know, and was wondering if there's any way that we can reach out to her and get an autograph. So I just want to say that, just so that she knows, you know what I'm saying? Just so that, you know, she knows that I tried. I need her to know.
Man, Yeah, it was. Listen, you know, there are so many of us and so many opportunities that we are able to either take advantage of or create. You know, we have so many unsung heroes in the community. We have so many unsung heroes that are in Hollywood and, you know, in the comic book realm, who are creators of video games and writers of graphic novels and fiction novels and stuff that people don't know about. You know, I hearken back to my boy, who his name is Brian Newton, and this was our year one convention, and he was the director, right? The director of The Adventures of Rick and Morty seasons 1 and 2.
Oh,
and he's black, right?
That's what's up.
And I just literally tripped and discovered him because I bought the DVD and I bought the Blu-ray. That's how much of a Rick and Morty fan is. I bought a Blu-ray of the cartoon. Anyway, right? So 180 DP is not enough for me with my hand-drawn cartoon.
Your hand-drawn.
Too, you know. But there were extras on the Blu-ray, and they had a little profile of him, and I freeze framed it, and I looked him up, and I found him on Facebook, and I friend requested and messaged him right there. I'm still in my bathrobe watching this on a Sunday, hitting him up in California, and he hit me back like 20 minutes later. And this is a guy who's, you know, on the behind the scenes for, you know, at the time was the greatest and most successful animated show on television.
Yep.
He had never been asked to go to a convention and speak for any reason.
Really?
He didn't have an agent. He didn't have a contract. He didn't have any terms.
Crazy.
You know, I was negotiating with him on coming out, and he said, sure, I'd love to come out. And then I started trying to talk particulars, and he was done with yes. It was really, he really didn't have a rider, like what kind of flight, and, you know, my hotel has to be this, and I get a per diem, and all. He was just like, look, just send me a ticket and give me a room, man. I'll do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't have there's nothing, you know. I've worked with artists before. They're like, I want all the green M&Ms taken out of the bag.
Yeah.
If I see one green M&M, I'm going to lose my shit. Like, you know, there's some artists that are like that. And I'm waiting for him to give me his terms. And he's like, I've never been invited to a convention before. And I'm just like blowing my mind, you know, like, how could that even be possible? Right?
That's
yeah.
cool.
And so he comes to BLERDCON and he won't do the star thing. We're trying to treat him like a guest and give him a backdrop and set him behind the table and get people lined up to get autographs. He's like, I don't want any of that. They paid me to do the job. I don't deserve any of this. And every time I would catch him hanging out at the bar, I would be like, you know who you're talking to? Yeah, I met Brian. He's a cool guy, you know, Like, this is the director of The Adventures of Rick and Morty. And they'd be like,
yeah.
What?
Like, oh my God.
There's so many of us out here that are on every level of the geekdom that a con like us get a chance to put out there and connect with. And it's just like, it's a real privilege and an honor, you know, so that you get like Rachel True. Remember what happened with Rachel True right before we booked her, right?
What happened?
Where remember it was a scandal where all these con runners would advertise, we've got the entire cast of the craft, and it'd just be the 3 white girls.
Yeah.
And they would
no!
they excluded her. Like, we got the whole cast.
Like, she wasn't in the movie.
She was like the only black person in the entire movie. Like, literally
and she
in the
went
entire
on
movie.
at some point, this had gone on for probably like a year or longer, you know, for her. And she wrote the equivalent of an op-ed on Twitter about how the erasure of her as a member of the cast, she's not getting invited to the Monster Mashes and all these places that the other 3 are getting invited to. And it's not like somebody invited her and she was difficult and, you know, had this big falling out. It's like she just wasn't getting the call. And
we don't even
somebody
care
was
about
like,
the
Hilton, this looks like a job for BLERDCON. Called her up and it was beautiful. And she was like, yep, I'm definitely coming. And I drove up to New Jersey because she was going to be at this one con in New Jersey, and I met her, and she was super cool. And, you know, my childhood crush, I was trying to chill out.
Yours too?
Don't trip. Focus.
Ice cold.
It's Mary Jane. Mary Jane, guys.
Exactly. Chill out.
Oh, man.
Were there any emergencies or rocky moments that happened during the last convention that, I mean, I didn't see anything go wrong. Everything went on without a hitch, but was there like any kind of rocky moments that might have happened while the convention was going on?
There's always rocky moments. And, you know, I liken it to the Wizard of Oz, you know, ignore the man behind the curtain is pulling all the levers and stuff's on fire and he's trying to, you know, that's what every show will tell you. You know, we had one thing that kind of made its way out of the curtain and affected the con. You know, we had a scheduling conflict, like they had overbooked the venue for some reason on one of the days. And so one of the panel rooms, two of the panel rooms, all of a sudden were booked on a particular day. And I think it was Saturday. And so we couldn't use it for the whole day. So you think about how many panels were taking place hour by hour by hour in two panel rooms. And this was last minute. We had to cancel, you know, half a dozen to a dozen panels just on the spot because they came to us and they were just like, you know, and you know, we're partners with them and we want to be good clients and they want to be, you know, good, you know, stewards and you know, so, you know, it's like a week beforehand, it's too late to change the schedule, do any of that kind of stuff. And it's like, you know, we got our dates mixed up, you know, they're on the calendar. There was some mix up between who wrote them in, but you know, there's nothing we can do. So for those people, it was a very disappointing situation that, you know, they come to the con, they're ready to do, they've done their presentation, they gathered up their folks, they're ready to do it. And then we're kind of like, you know, we don't even have a place to put you because of this scheduling conflict. So that was probably the only, I have gotten in the habit of not trying to overmanage the con, which minimizes more of the on fire moments that have happened historically with the convention. I'll give you an example. First year, we didn't really know what BLERDCON was going to be. We didn't know what it was going to look like. We didn't know what the audience or the community response, you know, we this year one. So we're throwing the kitchen sink at the convention. And if we could just have this one little kiosk where this thing is happening and we could put, you know, we're going to put a bunch of money in it. We're going to put a bunch of planning in it. And it's going to be this really cool thing. And it's going to be, you know, we're going to do this. And then the audience is going to do that. And then foot traffic is going to go here. And they're going to turn their head slightly to the right. And then they're going to be amazed. And and, you know, a whole lot of these little overmanaged, overhyped things that we were expecting to have happen that people really weren't all that excited about. And the stuff they got excited about was this little spontaneous thing that happened in a space that we just let sit, like a physical space and a programming space where we didn't overplan it and we just let something just organically happen. Ended up being the thing that people were losing their stuff about. Like, oh, a DJ wants to set up over in that corner. What do you want to do, Hilton? Just let him set up and play. I'm thinking about this overmanaged thing over here I gotta work on, and then people were like, yo, there was this DJ who was in this room and it was the most amazing thing. And I'm like, but this thing over here that I put all this energy into, they're like, you know, we saw it was cool, whatever.
Are you sure you don't want to check out the bacon pancake station? Like,
the bacon pancakes, come on, it's bacon in a pancake. You know? So it's I have learned to say my job as a con runner is to try and create the framework for organic, cool stuff to happen. If I put the food trucks there, the people will go to the food trucks and I will let the magic happen without my hands on it. If I put the DJ over here and just let them play, people are going to come and they're going to do the bus stop and they're going to do the electric slide and they're going to do the Cupid shuffle and they don't need me to organize it. And all right, we're going to do electric slide, people. Come gather around. We're stepping to the right in 3, 2, white people watch me. We're going, no, they don't have to do any of that. It's just in us to just spontaneously happen. So we didn't have, I think BLERDCON 2019 was our third iteration. We had kind of gotten it down to a science. I'm the one that's freaking out. My team is cool. talk to any member of my team. If you ever get there, a lot of them are introverts, so that you won't get them on a show like this. But pull it like Hilton is running around losing his shit most of the time in the weeks leading up to the cons. And we're like, we got it. It's cool. Don't worry about it. And I'm the one going, what about? And did you think about? And I just like, you know what? Just let me back away and just let it happen. Get out the way. And that was 2019, man. You saw that party.
Yeah, the party was live.
Were you at the party?
It was live. Yeah.
I wasn't.
You talking about DJ Senpai's party?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On Saturday night.
Yeah, it was live.
2,000 people in the room.
I
ain't playing that.
Yeah, I was about to say, are you guys gonna do that again this year? So that's not gonna happen, right? Or is that it?
Well, interesting that you should ask. The answer is actually yes, but it's a very, very new, crispy, squeaky dinner plate. Yes, because what we were planning to do, and I don't want to get too deep in the weeds with this, was to put the parties outside. Mm-hmm. And I had been going back and forth with the city and with all the stakeholders that are like, okay, what about noise? We need generators for power. And what's happening in the state of Virginia is on June 15th, the governor is lifting all COVID restrictions, assuming that the infection rates and hospitalizations and all that stuff go down. That's everything. Everything's back to 100%.
Yeah.
So we no longer have the state mandate reason to move the party outside from inside. And you might say, oh, but inside is going to be a little less safe than it would be outside. Mm-hmm. And it's actually going to be a wash, and here's why. Because there is no mask mandate outside. Right. So people will be maskless outside. So if you put 1,500 people up against each other at a party outside, yelling and talking and singing and all this stuff, you're outside, and outside is generally better than inside. Yeah. But without masks, you're not really, it's kind of evening out. But inside, we have a mask mandate. So with the masks on inside, you are not screaming in people's faces and all the stuff that you normally do without a mask, So we are going to be doing that, it looks like. And we're probably going to do something really cool and creative, like a glow party, UV light. Yes. Kills a lot of bacteria and viral particles and stuff. And so awesome. I want that thing looking like I want you to walk in and look like that scene in Belly where
show Belly.
So if you got dandruff, you got to work on that, because it's gonna. If you got flakes, bro. You come into that party.
Don't wear no black tees. Don't wear any black tees. You go.
Get your head wrapped. Keep your hat on. Don't no flakes. Brush your shoulders off before you walk in.
Brush that COVID
gonna get you.
Yeah, that's a vicious idea. Like with the lights and everything, that's a fantastic idea.
We're working on that. Yeah.
I just bought a golden ticket. I just bought it before the show, so I can say that I'm not lying. Listen, man. When you hit me up, I was actually working on the layout for the VIP area. Yes.
And like I said, after BLERDCON 2019, the Hyatt did a full renovation of the entire hotel.
Oh, wow.
Everything from, you saw it in the walkthrough. The hotel rooms look space age, man. I mean, I'm just like, this is not. I remember year one, and they were nice then, but it looked like the Jetsons 1980s nice, right? But now it's like, everything is crispy and brand new and everything. So that VIP area is going to be lit, man, because we're doing receptions. We're going to probably do, I can say it. We're going to do a welcome reception for the VIPs on Thursday. We don't normally do any programming on Thursday. Most people arrive on Thursday and they check in because they don't want to be dealing with it, on Friday. And we're going to have something for people to do on that Thursday. We're going to set up I'm setting up some PS5 stations.
Yeah,
they're gonna be PS4s down in the arcade atrium. That's
down the
all
peanut gallery.
PS4s. Yeah, that's gonna be cool. That's where everybody's gonna get PS4 activity down here. The VIP is gonna have PS5s. Yeah, we're gonna have our own little thing up there just for the VIPs. I want it to be so hot up there. I want it to be so live that if somebody tried to sneak into VIP, that y'all be like, oh no, you got to get out of
On some first class, like, sir.
Man,
Hey, bro, I don't see your VIP
security.
pass, cuz.
Hey, man, I'm gonna have to put my hand on your chest for that one, man. You gotta.
You can't
Whoa,
come
my
in.
brother.
Yeah.
All right.
Look, you got to call me. You're going to have to call me. Call me from the lobby, but you can't come past me. This the VIP area.
Like we're not even breathing the same air right now.
You don't smell that clover in the air, that air freshness. They spraying us every, But it's gonna be really nice. I'm really proud of what we're gonna be doing with that. Specialized programming is going to go in there. I don't have contracts yet on some of the celebrity guests that are coming out. It's actually been interesting because a lot of the celebrity guests we were booking are not going to be, they may or may not be out due to COVID. So we tracked down, a new list of celebrities. They're going to come through and they're going to be spending a lot of their time up there. It's going to be a lot of mixing and mingling. And what we want people to be able to do in the VIP area is to experience the entire convention, whether or not they decide to leave the VIP area. So every factor that is happening in the con space, right? We want them to be able to say, oh, there's video games, well, we got video games too. So there's music, but we got music. They got some panels, we got some panels. They're doing, we're getting a little bit of everything here. I mean, yeah, you're eventually gonna leave out of there.
Eventually, yeah, of course.
Yeah, you're gonna.
Hey, the barbecue truck is, outside.
Yeah, you got to go to the
You do
barbecue.
have to go outside, right? I can't bring the barbecue truck inside. If they let me, I'd do it, but I can't do it. That would be a thing, wouldn't it? Like I'm just gonna drive the barbecue truck.
That'd be amazing. The whole entire 5-star hotel to smell like Colt 45 barbecue.
All right, and bring me one of the Colt
Oh, they talk about
45s
They talk about
before he
like,
puts
you
it in the
Negroes.
barbecue sauce.
Man, listen. I've been into that thing, man. I saw all my ancestors. It was like Black Panther. I was in the astral plane.
They all nodded in approval, like.
Yeah,
it was the mac and
look, I was
The God
they put
boss
me in, I
was
went to
looking
sleep
over
in
you.
that big old tub of Old Bay. I was like, I just bit into a rib, and this my uncle who died in 1982. He's so proud of me.
Investment advice.
Yeah,
That's
oh,
hilarious.
man.
So yeah, man, I just love that idea, and we're still working on some of the fine details, but it's crazy because they're selling so fast. I can't really give you numbers because that there's proprietary information with the con and all that, but
Right.
the clip at which the badges are selling, even with the vaccine mandate, it's just so inspiring because it's just like, people have taken this on. I think there were a lot of people who were going to be on the sidelines before the vaccine mandate who were like reassured and got off the sidelines. I think as we get closer to the convention and the environment starts to calm down, the infection rates and all that stuff,
Right.
I think there's going to be a lot of people that come out, and it's going to be, I don't think we're going to be overrun. I don't think we're going to have 10,000 people. I think it's going to be a really, really respectable crowd. And that's what we want. We
Right.
want to prove that it can be done. Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of conventions. Again, there are a lot of conventions that are on the sidelines who are making their life or death decisions. Should we cancel and do virtual? Should we do in place? Let's see what BLERDCON does.
Yep.
That's why we're the first one on the calendar, man. So
Yeah.
everybody's kind of
Yeah,
doing that thing.
Man,
How
how
your
y'all
badges
doing?
selling and, and it's an honor in a way because we are in a position to help inform, these other conventions on how to make their con safe. It's okay to come back. There's always going to be a risk, but you can mitigate it and you can make people comfortable with it, and and come on out. So yes, it's going to be exciting. Really
It's definitely an opportunity to be a trailblazer. I think it's definitely an opportunity to go there. I can't wait to be there. I know I probably asked a million questions, but I wanted to see if Dexter D, you might have any questions for someone who has never been to a BLERDCON, but has been to plenty of conventions, or Demo, who's only been to BLERDCON and no other conventions.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
dang, Demo.
Yeah,
All
man.
right.
It
Okay,
was,
so I got something for Demo, and I again, if BLERDCON is your first and or only convention, you are setting yourself up for some disappointment. I'm on
the opposite end of that. I'm on the opposite end of that, mind you. So
I'm not putting any other cons down. I'm not. I'm just saying that there's certain expectations that people had. Because I know a lot of brothers like you, a lot of brothers and sisters, we were their first con, and we were their introduction into the con world. And they, they find the community, and we go to other cons too. We go to every con. We love normal nerd stuff just like everybody. So we go to other cons too. So, you see the other conventions on the calendar going around the calendar, and people would come to me and they said, yeah, this is cool and all, but I was looking for this thing that was at BLERDCON. I was looking for that thing that was at BLERDCon. I was looking for that thing at BLERDCon.
You're not gonna find
it.
Sorry, homie. That's why we got the BLERDCon.
BLERDCon and set the bar way too high, because I had a great time, man. Like for it to be my first, I was like, yo, I've not been coming to these. Like,
we have managed to create a formula that is very unique. So when you go to another convention, I love all conventions because I love people and I love different people and I love different locations and geographies and towns and all this stuff. So I'll go to any con anywhere. I just love it. So I have my expectations set. Even if it's like a library con out in Clinton, Maryland somewhere, it's like, this is really for what it is. This is what I came for, and I met some folks and had a great time. But when you go to your next big con and other people who haven't been to BLERDCon, and maybe this is their con, they're gonna be like, oh, Demo, you're gonna love this, and this is so fun, and we're gonna da-da-da, and you're gonna get there and you're gonna kind of, what's that meme with the disappointed fan where he got his hands up and he's you gotta kind of get that.
I like it.
But for it to be my first one, though, I was highly impressed. I was like, wow, like I'm really having fun out here. And that was just that Saturday. So
you had just come for that one day.
Yeah, I only came for that one day. So, one day, I'm like, yo, and then the next day, D was like, yo, the party, son.
Oh, you didn't make the party?
I didn't make the party. I had to go. I had something else to do. So I was out there for a good,
8 hours?
8 hours?
Clutching my Akoyo beads.
Yeah, we were there for a minute. But had to go do some other stuff. But man, I enjoyed it so much. Man.
Okay, so for y'all in the audience who's listening to this and watching, the best way to enjoy BLERDCon, and I'm telling you, is if you can afford it, or if you can get the time off, get to the hotel on Thursday, check in, get all of that out the way. Because if you come on Friday, the check-in process is going to be after we open the doors, because most hotels don't do check-in until like 3-4 o'clock. Now they do have some early check-ins that they do, and we have the majority of the people in the con. There's not a lot of stuff happening before us, so you might get lucky, but you don't want to be doing a long drive, unpacking all your stuff, moving it into a room, all this, and then have con day one. It's better to just wake up fresh, go downstairs, come to the opening, let it go, and then know and understand that the con is around the clock. We do not shut down. There's no lights cutting off and thank y'all for coming out. It's now 8 o'clock. We need everybody to leave. We'll see y'all in the morning. No.
Signing off.
Food trucks are around the clock. Arcade atrium is around the clock. The anime screening room is around the clock. Tabletop gaming room is around the clock. We have some of the panels that go late into the evening, BLERDCON After Dark. The parties are going to go late this year. So, there's really no time. It's like a casino. No one's telling you it's time to go to bed. So be ready to regulate your own schedule, because you're not going to see the normal progression of, okay, it's overnight now. So
you know what the beauty of it was, though? Because when I was leaving, clearly stuff was still about to happen, but it had moments where it like calmed down, which I really appreciated, because it's like, all right, I'm leaving at a good time, because I'm not leaving in the middle of something. Like clearly something else is about to happen, but
people do go to sleep.
Yeah.
We got We got young kids, we got older adults that after 10:30, you know, they're kind of like done with the day.
Yeah.
And then they'll go to the food truck, get some food, or they'll go to the room, get some rest, whatever. But there's still a good 2/3 to half of the con that's just like clocks be damned.
Full go.
I'm doing this all 72 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing this the whole way through. I ain't sleeping. I got one more question. Is it too late for folks to volunteer for the convention? And what ways can people help if it's not too late to volunteer or help in any kind of way?
Listen, there's two ways that I like to gauge the community buy-in for BLERDCON in the lead up. And it's not badge sales, because that is the last indicator. People wait to the very last minute. You know, look at the hotels and all the stuff. I get in and say, okay, we're good. People are going to be there. But it is volunteering and it is programming. People volunteer their time and energy. It just lets us know that people have bought into this as a community and they want to be a part of it. So it is never too late. We are doing really well, but we always need more. You can volunteer in almost any capacity. I mean, you can be security, you can work reds, you could be a wrangler, a greeter, a runner. You know, there's so many jobs and so many moving parts in the con staff, area that there's never too many volunteers. So absolutely. There's actually a post on all of our social media for volunteers with the links, or you can go to the website and there's a volunteer form it's a Google Doc that you fill out. Comes with you work a certain amount of hours, you get a full weekend badge and a shirt. You get to keep. You don't take the shirts back. You get the shirt. And again, it's just the community. It's important for people to see the community when they come in, and people that they know that are a part of the convention, because the convention is part of the community. So your time and your energy, even if you're doing something behind the scenes, you can volunteer to do stuff throughout the year. As a matter of fact, when we go to other conventions and we set up booths, if we're in your town and you want to come and help staff the booth, you know, we don't fly the whole team. They got day jobs. We're all volunteers. So, you know, if I'm coming to Philly or New York, I might not have the BLERDCON crew with me. I might have to bring the BLERDCON fam for wherever we're going to come out and help work the table, and we'll feed you and take care of you and all that. So there's absolutely no restrictions on that. Definitely volunteer is the best way you can help and contribute to the con. Awesome.
I'm sorry, guys. I know I said I wanted y'all to ask questions, and then I just went ahead and started keep asking questions. Is there? I know you guys. I know you, Andre and Dexter D, want to ask questions. So I want to give you guys the floor, the opportunity to.
Okay.
I mean, it's not really a question I have. I mean, for me, I'll just go ahead and say it's not really a question. It's just like a comment on, you know, salivating. I'm the opposite of Demo. I've been to a couple other conventions, and usually like the convention really comes home to me when I'm around the blurred element in those conventions. You know what I mean? So that's like after hours and like the, you know, the video game booths or, you know, what have you, when the main population starts to die down and, you know, some of us start to, you know, have our own little space and whatnot. I mean, I'm across the Atlantic right now, and I'm actually looking at flights, trying to see if there's any way I can get.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you,
it'll be great. Take a flight. I'll hit a vaccination, because if I stay here, I'm gonna have to wait till like midsummer to get my vaccination.
I heard that the UK is being real stingy with their vaxes, which is amazing to me, because, you know, we haven't been first in a lot of things in America in a long time, and when I found out that like we're first as far as vaccinations, I got friends over in the UK. Kazuki Cosplay, Rio Small, she's over there, 2 cosplayers that I really admire. And I'm like, yeah, you get your vaccine, come on over. Like, we're not gonna get our vaccines for.
No.
They hitting up the elderly and the sick and all this. Oh, they really. Then they pulled the AstraZeneca. You know,
they did.
So it's just been a real challenge.
Well, you know, let's just say a bunch of countries went to Costco and America bought all the toilet paper.
And
so we gotta do with what we got. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna pull apart this 2-ply And you know,
they're not even using it. Like I went to get my
that's
vaccine,
right
no
there.
one was in there. Nobody was getting their vaccine, and I was so surprised. Like I got my vaccine on a Saturday at 2 p.m. and it was empty, dog.
I feel like people are going back.
Biden said this week, he's like, I'm changing the rules. We are distributing vaccine to all the drugstores. You don't have to set an appointment. You can walk in. You can walk into a Walgreens right now with your shoulder out and say, I need the vaccine. You fill out some paperwork, and they like pop, hit you up, and get that first dose.
Right.
I don't even know if they're gonna ask about where you're from or anything. It's like, just make sure we're not double vaccinating you, so you have three different meds.
Somebody out here trying to get all 3 vaccines.
You saw that?
I heard
meme?
that. Somebody was talking like that.
I saw that meme. I've got all 5 companies in my bloodstream.
Yeah, like it's a super soldier serum.
Yeah, soldier serum out here. It's like
I'm gonna get one. I see if I get it in my left arm, it's not the same as if I got it in my right arm. And that way I can like, no, bro, that's not how vaccine
It covers me from all angles, you know.
exactly.
Cover you from life. You mess around. Look, COVID vaccine overdose. Like, what is going on with that?
Like we have the first mutant zero out here.
Oh man, see. So yeah, if you can get here, you can get vaxxed.
Yeah,
and
right.
That's what gives me confidence that even though a lot of people were caught off guard with the suddenness of the decision. A lot of people have adjusted, and they have they've looked at the fact that they can get vaccinated, and they're just like, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. And again, there are people who are just not going to do it for a wide variety of reasons. There's a whole spectrum over here of people that have decided not to do it for different reasons. We respect that. We're not trying to change people's minds, but we do want people to be safe. So yeah, if you get over here, man, trust me, somebody is waiting for you with a needle. You will trip and fall on a vaccination.
A nurse will help get you up.
No joke. My friend started working with Pfizer, and I hit her up. I was like, they should get like the dart guns, right? And like I could just like snipe people.
Just shoot.
Rooftop. I could just be like hitting people like, poop, they vaccinate people, run. They got Pfizer shooting from this rooftop. They got AstraZeneca from that rooftop, or do my man, just get my little blow dart. Like,
get the blow dart.
My neck is sore.
Yeah.
Besides BLERDCON, what plans do you have for the future? I actually don't know anything else about you except for BLERDCON. It's Hilton,
I am
BLERDCON.
so
I thought your name
excited.
was BLERDCON this whole time. I'm just playing. Go ahead.
I'm just here. I live here. Wait for everybody to come. No, actually, the COVID lockdown and all that has really altered my perceptions about business and about BLERDCON. This is now my full-time job. This is what I do. We're going to be expanding the Blerd footprint and community. We're going to be doing a lot of web-based promotion, do a little bit more with the virtual technology that everyone is now so comfortable with. I am going to be consulting with other conventions on how to, be more diverse and be more inclusive, and how to, create a convention that, even if it's not Blerd specific, is going to tap into all of these different areas of diversity and inclusion that may not come naturally to your institutional DNA. And, we've really had a good time running this. And it's funny because BLERDCON having to be canceled was not the end of one story, it was the start of another. We partnered with HBO, we did some work with TNT, Warner Brothers, Afropunk, South by Southwest, all hit us up about doing stuff, with the convention and with the connection that we have with the community. And, because everybody went virtual. Remember, all the cons got canceled.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So all the promotion that all of these brands and studios and networks were used to doing at San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, Anime Expo, all that just went away. And so now they're like, okay, who are the stakeholders that have, cachet with the communities that we need to reach? And this was in the height of the George Floyd, protest moment. So we had all these companies that were like hyper focused on the Black community.
Yeah.
And we were able to get out there and do some amazing outreach opportunities with them. And we're going to do more of that. We're going to be hopefully be able to put some ancillary events together. I want to bring little pocket BLERDCON pop-ups to other cons. I get that all the time. When's BLERDCON coming to my town? I'm like, I
would love to have a BLERDCon concert. I have been trying for the last 2-3 years to have a concert where there's video games and there's music. And
listen, I'm with you. And people have there's a need for it, and we are uniquely placed to make it happen.
Yeah.
And
that'd be a really cool
again,
idea.
creating more of a delivery system for blurred content throughout the year, so that BLERDCON is not just this big, hype thing that happens on the calendar every summer, but is a culmination of activity, outreach, and engagement throughout the year. And that's our goal. And so we'll be doing some of that. You'll see some of that manifest in 2021 and 2022. And hopefully that'll be the mission to accomplish before. Because listen, as crazy as it's going to be, I really think this is going to be a really great year for BLERDCON 2021. 2022, when all the cons come back and all of the people get back onto the playing field, and everything starts really opening up and we go back full throttle, the con community and the nerd community is going to be just at an all-time high. We're going to have a 3-year run after 2021 that's just going to be stellar, and it's going to hit everybody: the podcasters, the bloggers, con runners, musicians, artists. It's just the energy is just going to blow up, and so you guys should be ready for that too.
Absolutely. Are there any homies you want to give a shout out to, man? Just anybody you want to thank, or just that you work with that's just awesome? I know you got like a whole team.
I got a whole team, man. So, obviously big shout out to my co-founder, Haas Parrish. He's working behind the scenes, making big things happen. He's got a lot of stuff that keeps him busy, but he's always makes time for BLERDCON, and it wouldn't be no BLERDCON without him. The team, Tifron, Cerise, Demi, Lacey, I'm just looking down my list of people. Nigel, Steven. I gotta give a shout out to my DJ Taylor Senpai. Haven't been able to spend with him in so long. Come on, what are we gonna do? I don't have the names in front of me, so it's like everybody's right here, and I'm looking at everybody's face. But we really have had a great time. Building this like Black Faye Day, this just day before yesterday.
Yeah.
Carmen put that. Yeah, it's a new thing, man. I'm getting hip to it myself. So Carmen put that on. My man Maurice, cosplay con runner, Supreme, DC Anime Club, Nerds with Melanin, HNIC, UAL, POC cosplayers. Big shout out to Quirk Chat, the app. Everybody should check that out. The Quirk family is really doing it. There's just so much blurred activity out there in the community that we need to tap into. And then if I missed anybody with the team, I just, it's blood sugar, it's dinner time. But make sure I shout everybody out on the front and the back end. But we really have a great team. We cannot do it without them. Every aspect of the con that you mentioned, Ashley is the one who organizes the food truck rally. So, Ashley's somebody that does a lot of contribution. My man Wheels, he does our sound and light. You just run down the list of all the people that come in and make big things happen, and the sponsoring cons are going to be there. It's going to be MagFest is going to be on board. We're going to have some awesome con on board for BLERDCON. It's just really a lot's going to be happening this summer, and it's because of this community effort, and it's because of the team, and they just put so much of this work in, and without them, Jasmine on registration, free Jasmine. There's going to be so much going on, and you'll see all these people, and thank them when you see them. They make it happen.
Man, I appreciate having you on, man. You got this whole macro leadership thing going on. Like it's amazing. It's amazing, you know.
I'm just the face. You know, I have a vision, but I could not put any of this together without the team. I couldn't put any of this together without the community. You know, it is such a joint effort. And I think you feel it when you come. You feel like you're a part of it.
Yep.
Because you are, you know. And even if you've never been to BLERDCON before, if you've never seen more than 5 Black cosplayers in a room in your life, you still feel like you're home. And that's what makes it special, you know. There's something that we've tapped into that is worth replicating, that is worth celebrating. And, you know, I think we're in so much need of it this year, more than we probably ever could be.
Yeah.
We've been disconnected. I did not know how much of my friends and my social life were tied into cons before everything locked down. I took for granted that I'm just going to see you, and I'm just going to, I'll see you next time. It just never occurred to me.
And then it never happened.
Yeah, like, oh wait, like this person, he lives in London, and half my team is in Tidewater, Virginia Beach, and New York, and North Carolina, and Atlanta, and all this stuff. And I'm like, snap, I ain't seen nobody. Where in the hell is everybody?
Yeah, people just need to get out, man. We need to get out the house, man.
Oh, bro, don't even get me started. Get my little pasty behind out here into the sun.
I don't know about you guys. It's gonna be a while before I'm gonna go out, because I gained a lot of weight. You know, I gained like 30 pounds over this COVID period.
Yeah, I started running. I started running again. I bought a basketball. Like,
it just seems like such an incomplete statement. Like, is there a team somewhere?
No,
it's feel like at the house you could just
listen. Literally, I got a basketball.
Small victories, man. It's about the small victories.
So shoot around.
Incremental victories, all about it. Yeah, we all got some COVID weight to lose, man. Look,
absolutely.
It was last summer. And you switching out your wardrobe, and you go back to them shorts that you was wearing 10 months ago.
Yeah,
and them
man.
shorts is like, nah, fam. I don't know you. Who is this? You better take me to the Goodwill.
That ain't about to fly, bro.
You better get on Amazon. You know better.
Like, you need to cop something with some spandex in it. Okay. Last 2 questions. If we can't support BLERDCON with our time and support, how can we, or where do we go to get official BLERDCON merchandise to support the cause?
Oh yeah,
we have a Shopify site, so you can get that. You can go to the website BLERDCON.com. We got T-shirts. I'm not wearing one right now. Terrible branding on me, but we got hats, T-shirts, I mean, all kinds of stuff for BLERDCON that you can get on the Shopify site. If you come to BLERDCON, obviously the merch table has got a lot more stuff. We really stock up special for that. You know, that's where you can really get your BLERDCON stuff, man. And go to the Shopify site from the website or from the BLERDCON page on Facebook, and it'll lead you right to it. It's all, you know, there for the taking. And listen, not for nothing. If you can't go to BLERDCON and you want to send somebody to BLERDCON, you can buy a badge for somebody else. I tell people that all the time. Like, look, if you can't make it, but you got friends and family, nieces, nephews. Remember, kids 12 and under are free.
Yep.
Right. So, you know, you come to BLERDCON and you got little nephews and nieces that you want to have come through. I mean, if you got an extra tall nephew, he may have to show ID. Like, I've seen people bring 6-foot kids that are like,
bring your report card.
This little Jeffrey. I'm like, all right, Jeffrey, I need to see the ID.
I need to see your school ID, Jeffrey.
Yeah, you got a little too much of an undercut here. You got a 5 o'clock shadow going.
You got a mustache.
A little too much bass in your voice. Be 12.
How old are you?
You got there's some cools in your pocket. You smoking? What are you doing over here?
Oh man.
Is that a wedding band?
Right.
You ain't fooling nobody.
What you're doing is eating too many chicken nuggets from McDonald's.
Bro, get those steroids.
Or the
steroids in you.
They make me strong, man. They give me strength. The chicken nuggets, man. I love them.
Oh man.
where can folks catch up on BLERDCON updates, information? Where can, if I want to know that there's like a big change about to happen, where's the first place that I can go to see that?
Listen, we are all over, mainly Instagram and Facebook. If you go on Facebook and you type in BLERDCON, you're going to get the BLERDCON page, the BLERDCON group, and the BLERDCON event. All of the news and all the hot stuff drops on social media first.
On right now.
Right. So it is a lagging indicator to wait for the website, and the newsletter is only monthly. So, you know, if it's not, you know, I highly encourage everybody, follow our social media, turn on your notifications. There was a time where if you joined the group, that was your way of telling the algorithm, this is the content that I want to see, and these are the notifications. Algorithm don't care who your friends lists are no more. Algorithm don't care about what groups and pages you subscribe to. The algorithm is working on something else. You have to tell the algorithm that I want notifications from BLERDCON, because otherwise you just won't see it no more. I mean, it's just the way social media works. And it's you have to do that. But that's where we put all the announcements and all the last minute details, and those go out there first. Social media.
Gotcha. Now, guys, I want to give you a chance. Is there anything else that y'all want to ask Hilton? Anything else? Any other thoughts on your mind? Any other things going on? Any other thoughts you want to share?
Left it all out there on the court with Demo's basketball, man.
Yep.
It's all on the court. Left it all out there.
Hopefully it's helping me lose some of this weight, man.
My man's not taking no shots. He just in there, just with the cross, just crossing, you know?
Crossing himself up.
Right. Wasting my
shadow dribbling.
Ankles is mine.
Ankles.
Can't tie your shoes tight enough for me.
Right. Oh man.
Oh, yo, it's been awesome to have you, man. You are hilarious. And it's just been super great to talk to you, to get all this extra information. Leaving out on a quote, every journey begins with a single step. We just have to have patience, you know, Millie Thompson from Trigun. And I think that is a huge statement about BLERDCON. You know, I'm sure it took a single step, and now it's as big as it is. And I can't wait to see where it ends, you know.
Single step. And a lot of this to smooth things out. Smooth things out. Keep things level. You know, keep Papa smooth. That's all.
I was wondering where that charisma was coming from.
Right, man. I'm feeling good. Next podcast. Let's do this.
Man. Again,
we might have to do a boozy podcast next time, man. Just
Oh, I did. As if your producer don't have enough to edit.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Sean
we're gonna be sounding like a Luke song on Sunday radio.
Like,
and then
like, let's see how good you are at your job, Shane.
Oh man,
terrible.
Thank you so much for being on here. Thank you so much, guys. This is Coldplay Media, and we are out of here. That was good.